Now we're going to start talking about the inverse trig functions. And remember that an inverse function is the function that kind of undoes the other function. Now, to have an inverse function, we talked about in the algebra section of this class that we had to pass the horizontal line test. Well, we can see that sine of x doesn't pass the horizontal line test. So what we need to do is look at a part of the graph so that it's called restricting the domain, and only look at that part of the domain that would pass the horizontal line test. And we see if we take the graph from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, okay, we still get all of the y values from negative 1 up to 1. But that part, which is what is over here, passes the horizontal line test. Okay, so that's called our restricted domain. So we're just, when we talk about inverse sine, the part of sine we're taking the inverse of is just from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And that's helpful to note that we mean kind of the right-hand side of the unit circle. We think negative pi over 2 would be going negative in this direction. And when we're talking about sine inverse, we'll use all of these angles as negative angles. So this would be negative 30, negative 45, negative 60, and then up to pi over 2, and those as positive angles. So when we talk about sine inverse, here's our graph of sine inverse. Okay, the domain is from negative 1 to 1, so you can plug in any value between negative 1 and 1, and you're going to get out a value between negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Now, let's think about what sine inverse means. We wanted to undo something. So remember, we put angles. If we just talk about sine, so let's talk about sine of x. We put in an angle, and we get out a number between, sorry, that went off the page, but between negative 1 and 1. Now, sine inverse is going to go the other way. So it's going to take a number between negative 1 and 1 and give you out the angle that if you put that angle into sine, you would get out that number that you put in. Okay? So here's the way we think about it. So to find exact values of sine inverse, it says set theta equal to sine inverse of x. Rewrite theta equals sine inverse of x as sine of theta equals x. Remember when we were trying to find an inverse function, we would switch the x and the y's? That's what we're saying here. Then it says use the unit circle between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, so that's going to be the right-hand side, to find the value of theta that satisfies, sorry, that's going off there, that satisfies sine of theta equals x. Okay, so let me show you how this is going to work. Oops. So here we want sine inverse of square root of 2 over 2. So we're going to say, okay, well, theta equals sine inverse square root of 2 over 2. And we're looking for an angle out here. So we're going to switch and say, okay, we want an angle where sine of theta equals square root of 2 over 2. And we want that on the right-hand side. So, okay, where is sine, the y value, equal to square root of 2 over 2? Well, that's right here at pi over 4. So we would say, okay, that's our answer. Theta equals pi over 4. So we're looking for the angle that where sine is square root of 2 over 2, and just on the right-hand side. Okay, then we want to know where is sine equal, inverse sine equal to 1/2. So we're saying, okay, for what theta is sine of theta equal to negative 1/2 on the right-hand side? Okay, well, where's the y value equal to negative 1/2? It's down here. Now remember, I said earlier, when we're in the fourth quadrant here for sine inverse, we need to think about this as a negative angle. So since we're right here, this is negative pi over 6, or negative 30 degrees. Okay, so you'd put it in degrees or radians, however it's asking you. Okay, now we want to know where is sine inverse, or what is sine inverse of 1? Well, so we're saying, for what angle is sine of theta equal to 1? Okay, and we see that's up here at 90 degrees, or pi over 2. Let's put it in radians. Okay, then this last one is saying, where is sine inverse equal to 3 over 2? Sorry, what is sine inverse of 3 over 2? So we're saying sine of theta equals 3 over 2. Well, 3 over 2 is bigger than 1, right? It's 1.5. Well, our domain is from -1 to 1 here, so this is undefined. Right? There's no angle where if you put it in, you get something bigger than 1. Okay, so this is how we calculate sine inverse.